Hello everyone and welcome to the Tech Talks podcast. I'm your host Sanskriti Kadam and
I am Krishi Shah. Today we have with us Priyansh Sharma, who has been an intern at Amazon. Welcome, Priyansh.
Sure. Thanks, Sanskriti. Thanks, Krishi, for the wonderful introduction.
So, Priyansh, you have been experienced across education for multiple states, right? So, how has cultural exposure influenced your personal growth?
So for me, like living in different states and cities, it broadened my horizon and my perspective, as well as I became more adaptable to different types of situation. It like helped me connect with different type of people coming from different backgrounds, and it helped me become a better communicator as well as a collaborator. It also helped me like go through or switch between different dynamic environments, both in terms of academics as well as when I'm at home or not doing anything. It just allowed me to think in a different way that maybe I can utilize my time in a much better way. So, in both academics and non academics, it helped me become a better version of myself.
yeah, it's quite amazing I must say. So like cracking JE is a massive achievement. So what was your preparation strategy and how did you handle the overall pressure?
Okay, so like JE is around 6 to 7 years back, so not sure if I'll do justice to the preparation part. But still, when I did prepare during my 11th and 12th standard, my majority of the time went in like in the classes around 6 to 7 hours, and after that, when I came home, I made sure that I revised all the things which were taught in the class, along with solving the different homeworks. Or we get booklets where I was studying, so like solving more and more questions, becoming more and more crisp on your concepts, and making sure you don't repeat the same mistakes twice or thrice, and as well as like learning from your friends, like how are your friends approaching the problem. So ultimately, since it is a 2 year game, so I suggest everyone that make good friends in your preparation strategy, and also make sure that you join a good coaching firstly, you make good friends second, and lastly, just don't be disheartened or demotivated, because there will be like phases in these 2 years of your prep when you will feel like you don't want to prepare anymore, or you will feel lost in a journey. So just keep working hard and don't think much about the end result, because that is something which tends to make even experts nervous. So we should not think about the end result. Just keep working hard, keep rectifying your mistakes, focus on your strengths, minimize your weaknesses, and you will drop the paper surely. Like there are many people who like study hard and get into prestigious colleges. So just keep working hard and believe in yourself.
Being in NIT Raipur is obviously a great achievement. So, how NIT Raipur helped you shape your career?
So once I cracked JEE, basis the different colleges I was awarded into, I decided to pursue an IT Raipur. Reason being, firstly, I am from Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh is something which is quite similar to me, like in terms of language as well as the food, along with the people which we get there. So, firstly, my choice of college was like, since I'll get like-minded people, I'll join that place. Also, my 4 years of college, like since I was a COVID pass out, so last 2 years did not like become that fruitful. But in the initial 2 years, I did participate in many clubs and committees, which allowed me to shade away my image of introvertedness, which I was earlier. So I started to interact with many people. I started to know like what different type of plans students have when they've joined the college. So like some of them wanted to go for a master's, while others wanted to pursue their jobs. And so most of us like me were confused that we have joined the college, but we are not sure what we want to do. So again, the 4 years will allow you to explore yourselves. Just don't hide back, or just don't sit in your rooms and maybe just waste your time. Go out there, explore different avenues. If even if you don't know what you want to do, just take part in all the activities which happen in the college. Maybe talking to different type of people, be it your peers as well as people who are not in a college but friends from different colleges. Like talking to others also helps you navigate your journey. So yes, the club committee part as well as making good friends in the college allowed me to actually think of what I want to do in life.
Yeah, it's quite an amazing journey, I must say. So it was a particular college journey. Now let's talk about your tech journey right now. So after facing over 250 rejections, so what mindset or approach helped you to persist and finally secure a role at Amazon?
Sure. So let's go over the rejections first, the painful part. So I started applying for jobs in my fourth year, like starting of fourth year around July or August. So initially I was not that persistent enough, I would say, in the off-campus opportunities. Just that I was more focused on companies which will come on campus. And as I say this, I see both of you smiling, so you know, like securing off-campus jobs are slightly more difficult. So once I got a job offer from Deloitte on campus, I was a little bit chilled out. So initially 2 3 weeks, I was just enjoying the moment, and after that, I realized that maybe since I'm graduating at a time when there is tech boom, I should try once more. So earlier I had tried around 50 companies, and most of them were either rejected or they did not reply back. So I thought that maybe I should try applying for more positions, and I should use LinkedIn as a platform to message people like with my resume as well as a job opportunity to actually allow me to like pursue this part of job application in a more synchronized manner, because referrals do work out from my experience. Although I do feel that if you're not getting a referral, you should apply anyway. But referrals do help you get an edge over other candidates. So I started applying using referrals. After which, for initially few weeks, I was not getting any responses. But after, let's say, a month and a half, I started to hear back from recruiters that they are interested in me and they are hiring for so and so position. So gradually, I started to get interviews, and likewise, the journey went on. Like initially, 3 to 4 interviews, I was not performing that well because I did not have an experience of what a tech interview actually is. But after that, I refined my mistakes, and ultimately, around April, when Amazon was hiring extensively, I applied for the same position, and I applied using a referral, I won't lie. After which, I got the test link and the interview. Like there were 4 rounds of interviews, after which I secured the position of software engineer at Amazon.
So working at Amazon would have been a very good experience, I suppose. So what was the key challenges that you encountered being a business payment vertical at Amazon?
Sure. So since you told correctly, I was in business payments at Amazon. So firstly, understanding what business payments is and understanding since I was a software engineer, so understanding the code base of such a large organization was a bit of a challenge for me. So initially 2 or 3 months, I would say I was actually taking help from mostly my seniors in understanding how things work at an MNC. Reason being, it was my first job also. So understanding what a stand-up is, what is agile methodologies, if you are aware of, like folks studying computer science. So there are some basic terminologies, or I would say job conventions, which go with every job. So take it easy if like you are not aware of them, and subsequently once you start exploring the job, you will realize that it is not that difficult. Just that we should be mentally ready that few months will be slightly more difficult. Reason being, we are new to the job, we are new to the company, and the company is new to us as well. So it is important to actually imbibe the overall culture of the company. If the work demands to maybe stay up late till the night, then you'll have to do it. Also, one more thing was that since I was working in business payments, my job revolved mostly around optimizing the payment processing systems of Amazon to enhance the UI experience. So one of the challenges which I remember clearly is the scalability of the systems which I was building. So earlier when I was in college, we mostly build projects like which are for very few users, like maybe 10 to 15 max who will use the system. But again, when you are working in a company, you'll have to think of millions of users who will be using the app or maybe say the hardware at the same time. So you'll have to design systems which are scalable as well as yet they are consistent and they are behaving in the same manner. So collaboration with other teams, maybe teams from Europe and America, was a bit of a challenge for me also initially because the time zones were different and the culture of working was also different. So in Europe, particularly, people don't like working beyond a certain time, whereas in India, there is there is no culture of working like you have to get the work done by the given time. So me, that was also a learning experience for me that we should plan well ahead in time. What will be the consequences if we are not able to collaborate with European engineers like in a timely manner. So working under tight deadlines also a learning curve for me.
So what's the actual, that process which we go through, like from interview or aptitude, something like that. So were there any some challenges before you entering into Amazon for this role?
Yeah, so Amazon, as we know, for SD roles, that is software development engineers, they are primarily focused on DSA, that is data structures and algorithms. So I was practicing extensively on platforms like LeetCode and Geeks for these type of problems. For my second year itself, I would say, and I also did a bit of competitive programming on platforms like CodeChef and CodeForces. Reason being, it broadened my mind and it allowed me to solve problems in a timely constraint, which is the demand of an interview. So practicing BSA from platforms like Geeks for Geeks and LeetCode. Apart from that, I revised the basic curriculum of my college, that is basic subjects like object-oriented programming and databases. What are the different type of databases along with that operating system? So majorly focused around DSA and a bit of other subjects as well. And if you're applying for an SD1 role, make sure to have a good grasp on our projects which you have built during your college because you will be tested on those projects and make sure that you know the projects in and out. Reason being, as an interviewer also, since I've taken interviews, it is relatively easy to catch people if they have not made the projects themselves. So for all the budding software engineers, do have your inclination towards projects as well, because apart from BSA, projects also hold substantial importance, and projects usually are the deal breaker if all of the candidates are similar in DSA. So make sure you have good grasp on projects as well as a good grasp on DSA.
Leaving Amazon for a dual degree is definitely a bold decision. So what led you to take that leap?
Not really, I would say yeah, I understand the salary part that leaving a posh salary is slightly more difficult. But in my mind, I knew that I won't be able to code for next 5 to 10 years, which is an ideal duration for someone working at a product-based company. So I decided that in my first year of working itself, that after working for 6 to 7 months, I realized that how things actually work in a company. And my main aim of joining Amazon was that in 3 to 4 years time, I should be able to migrate to a managerial role, which seemed difficult because ideally a manager is someone at Amazon who has worked for close to 7 to 8 years. So I could not have waited for so long. That's why I decided that I'll go for an MBA. My decision of choosing our dual degree is that since like from childhood I've wanted to experience different type of lifestyles, and I would say that I was bored of India's way of working. So maybe this degree will allow me an opportunity to actually explore what holds outside India. So I decided to go for a dual degree. Also, the second reason of doing an MBA was that there was a gap for me, like understanding how managers work, which actually the subjects in MBA will allow you to cover. So there are different streams in MBA like marketing, operations, consulting as well. So like if you study these different subjects, it will allow you to actually understand what is the business mind of doing a particular work. Till then, I was aware how softwares work and how like we are able to solve the technical nitty-gritties of building a product. However, I was not able to understand why I am building this product. Like I am getting the brief from a product manager, but how like what is the insight which is going behind it? So as and when I came for an MBA, I realized that there are different type of techniques through which like the customer's mind is read. I mean, it is through surveys, it is through feedback. So these type of techniques was something which definitely I was not able to learn at Amazon at least. So through the exciting curriculum of an MBA as well as the opportunity to actually get a dual degree from ESCP, that prompted me to actually leave my job and go for an dual degree.
Yeah, it's a very bold decision which you took, and also I must say, hats off to all your hard work and everything. And I hope you do this, continuing your stuff. Um, I have one more question for you. Like, you have an experience working in those diverse cultural settings, right? So, how did all these things prepare you for the challenges in the corporate world?
Sure. So like meeting diverse type of peoples, it actually helped me like gauge a person's way of work, style of working, which is essential when you work in a corporate environment. So there are some people who like work on deadline to deadline basis, whereas others want to just stay ahead of deadline. So like there is something known as how you want to extract work from someone, which is a relatively tougher job if you have not encountered different type of people, because as we say like हर इंसान एक ही तरह से नहीं समझता है. There are techniques to make a person understand different ways, different things. So my diverse interactions actually help me analyze how will I make someone work, or what are my negotiation skills or persuasion skills when I'm trying to convince someone for an idea, or maybe what I can say when I'm trying to convince my manager, let's say for a project which initially was not taken up by my team. So there is one project which I eventually went on to work on, but my manager was initially hesitant because of the fact that there was a lot of hindrance from or interaction with Europe and American product managers. So I went on and said that, see, we have worked with Indian managers, just that when we work with the managers who are out of India, maybe we'll understand what people like what product managers from that side of the world bring to the table. That will actually allow us to make better products, because Amazon as a company was initially in US and then it came to India. So people like Amazon has a larger base or larger consumer base in US because they know the pulse of the customers. So all the engineers as well as the product managers, they are actually able to think in a faster manner, I would say, than Indian engineers. That is the reason like we should collaborate with them. That will also allow our project to actually finish faster and maybe before deadlines. So, like my manager listened to this patiently, after which we decided that yes, we should go ahead and collaborate with American engineers and managers. And like that is my story of actually how diverse mindsets, my interaction with diverse people actually helped me at my workplace.
Wow, that's an amazing story. So, being a part of a fan company. So how that title help you develop professionally as well as personally?
So professionally, I don't think that, like, if you had asked me this question 5 to 6 years back, yes, Fang like is a very attractive brand and it allows you to like talk to different recruiters. But at this stage of like the place at which software engineering is right now, I feel that there are many more companies who offer similar type of compensations, firstly, as well as projects to work on. So yes, Fang brings credibility to what I have done. So recruiters do not judge me on whether I know something or not. And secondly, it gives me a confidence as well. Like, yes, I have worked at a fan company, so yes, I am in a good space wherein recruiters will, or people, recruiters' friends will actually listen to what I've done or what I'm trying to do in a corporate workspace. So credibility and confidence is something which it gives me. Lastly, I would say that it also allows me to take a bit of risk in my life because I know that I have a safety net at my back that even if I fail, let's say in my attempt of uh, if I have to take current situation, then maybe if I fail at my attempt of getting exposure from my dual degree program, I know that I have a safety net to fall to, and maybe my um, contacts or the people who I have known from Amazon as well as from my college will allow me to just bounce back so that I can pursue different opportunities later in life. So these are the things through which a fan tag can help.
So you mentioned that you had also done lead code and those hacker rank, everything very extensively. So there, like in data science, in those data structures and algorithms, is it not only important in corporate world, or it is also important in some another walks of your life?
So I would say majorly DSA is something which will help you crack interviews only. I'll not fool you around that DSA is something which is done mostly for cracking interviews. So when we do actual work in company, it is more revolving around what projects we have done. Just that DSA as a recruiter, when I'm thinking, it allows you to judge what is a person's problem solving ability, whether he's able to think around a problem in a faster manner as well as in a more concise manner. So yeah, these two things is can be judged by DSA. Also, I forgot the second part of the question. What was it? How lead code and HackerRank help me in?
Help like in data structures and algorithms, how they help you in generating those logic and everything.
Sure. So, as you talked of HackerRank and lead code, so I started with HackerRank. So, if we have to get into slightly more detailed part, so yes, the logic building part is something which comes with DSA and precisely with competitive programming. So I did practice a bit of competitive programming on platforms like CodeChef, Codeforces. So the logic building part came from there, that what are the different data structures which can be used in different situations. So the logic building part, I was able to build through those platforms more than DSA. After which DSA became slightly easier for me, and ultimately, as I understand it, it is more of a number game. Like the more questions you practice, the better you get at DSA, and the more variety you solve, the lesser are the chances that you will fail at an interview, because ultimately there is a very limited scope in DSA is what I feel if I remove the very hard questions. So if we are able to cover majority of the variety questions, we should be able to swim through the interview, because variety is limited. If we've covered the variety, it doesn't matter if I've done 10 questions or 100 questions of the variety. If I've covered the variety, I feel that I'm more prepared for the interview, which will also mean that I'm able to think through the interview faster and I'm able to solve the problem in a more optimized manner.
So, like, as you said, solving questions is the key in lead code, yeah, in the essay in general. So that consistency is what matters, right? What was your mantra for maintaining that consistency?
Sure. So I started in 2020. At that time, Lead Code's daily challenge was actually not there. I think that it came in 2021 or 2022. So, like, firstly, build a good friend base around. I was not alone in solving the questions. I had 4 to 5 friends who I interacted with almost on a weekly basis and sometimes daily as well. So we decided that we'll solve 5 to 6 questions on weekdays and 10 to 12 questions on weekends, and we'll track each other's progress. So, like, we had each other's IDs, so that was a bit of transparency from our end. So we were able to gauge how everyone else is performing. So yeah, that is the first thing, that make a targeted goal, that how many problems you will be solving. After which, actually analyze what your peers are doing. Like, some of my peers were actually very good at optimizing solution space wise. So there are two complexities in a DSA problem, that is time complexity and space complexity. So I was better at solving problems in a more time bound manner, that is using time complexities. But it resulted me in taking extra spaces, like sometimes I took up extra arrays or vectors, but I was able to reduce the time. However, when I saw the solutions of my friends, they implemented almost the similar solution, but they took lesser space. That actually, like, it triggered a thought in my mind that maybe I could have used this approach as well. So I talked to them and I asked them, how did you think of this approach? So the logic building part began from that space, that, oh yes, I can think from this standpoint as well. And slowly and slightly, like, after solving enough number of questions, I realized how we go about optimizing both space and time complexities. And in most of the cases, we are able to optimize both of them. Sometimes there is a trade-off between space and time complexity, and mostly since companies are more looking to optimize space rather than time rather than space. Because even at Amazon, they were like, the app should work faster. Doesn't matter if we have to utilize AWS resources more. So that translates to reducing time complexity, but you can use space more. So this the practice of DSA helped me actually, like, convert these problems of business world into more of a DSA like situation.
Yeah, like exactly right. Having a friends group and solving together enhances your knowledge a lot. So we just talked about how you faced your 250 rejections, right? So then, uh, what were some of the things which you must have learned during all those period and before joining Amazon?
Sure. So before actually applying to internships, I was not aware of what an ATS is. So ATS is a resume checker. I would say that it rates your resume out of a score of 100. So I knew that my resume is good, but I did not know that the resume is getting filtered out while it is being put in a ATS. So ATS ka full form I'm just forgetting. It is application something, like, it is a resume checker. So once I started to, like, initially I was getting a lot of rejections. After which I talked to my seniors as well as my friends, and they told me that maybe your resume is getting filtered out in the ATS checker. So maybe you should check your scores on online platforms on what an ATS does and how you should form a resume. So my journey began with actually optimizing my resume, and it also meant that I had to present my projects in a different manner, and also optimize on how I'm actually narrating the my story. So resumes are usually built on action verbs, like they start with an action verb. What an action verb is? So achieving something. So achieved, led, spearheaded. These type of words are action verbs. So maybe for all the aspirants who are trying to apply for off-campus opportunities as well as on-campus ones, make sure that you use strong action verbs, because that will That is the first stage at which a resume checker or a company's application tracking system (ATS) is filtering out your resumes. Also, make sure that you are using numbers when you are describing what you have done in a project. So simply saying that I have built, for example, a library management system will not work. You can go on and say that my like built a library management system for a group of 100 plus people, optimizing their like searching time by 50%. So that is one example wherein you are actually reducing by half what the earlier problem was. And you have also had a group of 100 plus people, which shows that your project is working at a nice scale for someone applying from college. And for someone who is experienced, maybe they will be knowing about these hacks, but additionally, they should be able to decide on what type of projects they are presenting, because when you are experienced, it is not a matter of how many projects you have, because surely you have worked enough to present different type of projects. It is to analyze and choose between what you want to present and what you don't want to present. So that will also come when you start using this technique of action works, because an action, when you are narrating your project in an action work manner, you will realize that most of the projects which we do, they are actually not that useful when we're trying to narrate them in terms of numbers. So most of the projects which I had done in college, so they were not built at scale. So mostly 10 to 15 people were using it. So I decided to make projects which were like built more on scale basis, which like I went on to actually build a project for one of my major projects in which like around 50 to 60 people were using it at the same time. So that actually helped me write my resume in a more purposeful manner. Also, when you start getting rejections, it is natural to get demotivated. So the hacks which I gave for resume building, like keep working on them. Also realize the fact that as much as you want the recruiter also wants you. So do not sell yourself cheap, which I have seen many college graduates doing, that in search of job they are trying to work on a salary which is actually lesser than what they should command in the present industry. So be confident of your skills. Also, like believe in God that even if you're getting rejected at this time, it does not mean that the same will happen in the next 6 months. So like keep working at the process, keep rectifying your mistakes, as I say, and keep working hard, because there is absolutely no substitute to hard work, however talented you are. And lastly, have a belief and faith in yourselves that no matter what, even if I'm rejected by 1,000 companies, there will be one which will actually go on to select me, and I will start my journey from there. Yeah, that is my overall perspective of how to go about searching a job off campus.
That's the right perspective and right thinking for searching a job off campus.
Sure, sure. I
So,
give an insight to resume building as well.
yeah. Doing a dual degree right now, how did you balance your academic career, personal growth, and everything?
Sure. So with the dual degree program, most of my challenges were regarding the time zone difference which I had between India and Europe colleges. So as I had worked at Amazon, I knew that there are certain times in the day wherein the European public is basically more active. So whenever I had to get some work done in whatever committees I had joined, I would like to talk to the people who were over there during those times. Also, academically, yes, it was rigorous. So, MBA academically is a rigorous degree, and like if I have to project it in number terms, so I have done 20 subjects in the last 6 months, apart from clubs and committees which I have joined. So, yeah, it's a very rigorous course, but it also isn't very theoretical, as I will say, from an engineering standpoint. Like you get to explore different type of consumer behaviors, and you actually get to interact a lot more than you would do in an engineering job. So in all the projects which I have made here, it actually helped me to interact with all type of people coming from like when we are manufacturing a product to going to a retailer as well as going to a wholesaler, like how they're actually selling the product to getting into a consumer mind using surveys or using focused interviews. These all are the aspects which I had come to do in an MBA as in a B school, and it helped me actually understand what a customer wants. And now, when I have to build an app from scratch or maybe a service from scratch, I actually know how I have to proceed. Like what will be my consumer goals, understanding their pain points, and then actually converting them into uh, technical requirements through which we are building an app. So from a software engineer's view, like this is how it will go. And as in when I join, if I join a different industry, so I have exposure to different types of industries as well within a very short span of time. So these were something which I learned from a dual degree, and like I'll be switching to Germany in some time, like in coming 15 to 20 days. So my second leg of the dual degree starts after I join Germany.
So what are the opportunities which you would get in dual degree?
Sure. So dual degree will allow me to firstly explore roles in product manager and project managerial areas, which was something I wanted to do after my experience at Amazon as a software engineer. Also, my inclination towards marketing increased when I did these projects, and when I pursue these different type of roles, I will actually gauge like what my preferred area is. So an MBA opens up different types of opportunities in a very short span of time, which I think is, I won't say a drawback, but this is not something which happens in an engineering college. So people there are more fixated towards one industry and one role, whereas here you get to experience different type of roles, and then you choose for yourselves like what is the best role for you, and then you go on to actually pursue jobs in that particular area.
Right. Now we will start with rapid fire questions. Like
Sure.
we will ask you a few questions and you will answer in a word or two.
Sure, sure.
So, are you a morning person or a night owl?
Morning, absolutely morning. Like I wake up at 7. So, yeah,
Wow. So your go-to programming language.
it will be Java. Although I don't code a
Your
lot now. When I used to code, I used to code in Java.
your favorite comfort food during stressful sessions?
Maggie, short and sweet, short and salty.
So one book or movie that inspires you.
I will say Three Idiots because I've been pretty close to the movies, and I will say it is the closest to what happens in an engineering college,
True.
barring the society.
Uh, yeah. A tech trend that you are most excited about in 2025?
The fact that companies are switching more to projects and less to DSA, and system design is something which is coming up recently. It should have come back earlier, but yeah, companies have realized that DSA is not good enough.
So preferred work setup, whether it's remote, hybrid, or on-site.
Mix of both, as in yeah, hybrid with 2 days of work at office and 3 days of work at home.
Your favorite memory at NIT Raipur?
The first cultural event which we had at the college, in which we had invited Sonu Nigam for actually having a gala night, that is the most memorable thing.
So that one piece of advice you had give to your juniors.
Work hard and don't repeat your mistakes.
Table tennis or badminton?
Table tennis.
So if not tech, what career path would you have chosen?
I would have gone on to become a table tennis player because when I was in my class sixth, I have played for my state team. So perhaps table tennis.
That's an amazing journey, Priyansh. Thank you for coming on board and sharing your life journey so detailedly.
Sure. Thanks, Sanskriti. Thanks, Krishi, for having me.
Thank you so much, Priyansh. So let's meet in the next episode of Tech Talks podcast. Like, share, subscribe, and also comment down if you have any doubts. Let's meet in the next episode.